Welcome to the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast, where business owners, thought leaders, and community champions from across Central Illinois come to share their story. The Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. Anything less would be uncivilized.
What's up, Central Illinois? My name is Derek Hayden. I'm here with Garrett Ulmer. We are your hosts for the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. Before we kick it off today, I want to let you all know that we do record our meetings by video, so you can find those on YouTube. We'll share those on our Facebook and LinkedIn pages, so check us out and our guests out there as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce today's guests. Today's guests are the owners and operators of Peace Lily Metalworks in Effingham, Illinois. I was going to say rural Effingham, but you guys moved your shop to in town now. So anyway, guys, welcome to the show. Laren and Andrew Dial. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. We're excited to learn more about Peace Lily, learn about how you got it started. But before that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Garrett. And we're going to get to know you a little more through our speed round.
Absolutely. So all of our listeners and viewers out there can just get a little bit better understanding before we dive too much into your story, who you are and kind of some of your interests, so they can get to know you on a deeper level. We're going to 6 questions. We say 60 seconds, but we'll let that stretch depending on how you guys decide to answer. Okay.
Okay.
And as Derek said earlier, you both have to answer. So that's strict advice from him. So
All right.
if we're ready, we'll go ahead and proceed here. Your first concert.
Mine was Jason Aldean at the minor league stadium in Southern Illinois. He was in center field and we were at second base. So
That's awesome.
That was like 2009. Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
Mine was Shania Twain in Terre Haute, Indiana, whenever I was 6.
There you go.
Perfect.
I feel like a woman. Man, I feel like a woman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
We don't have enough time to dive into that.
Yeah,
Derek,
I'm sorry.
so. Favorite movie?
Oh, shoot.
That's a good. I don't know. There's too many, I think.
I'm not sure. I like Quigley Down Under is the first one that comes to mind, but
Okay.
Gran Torino for me. I like that one.
Oh, Gran
All right.
Torino. Both good.
Yes. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Cookie dough.
Boom.
mine's probably cookie dough.
All right. I'm right there with you. Are you guys iPhone or Android?
Ooh, iPhone.
Android.
It's
A
full
house
household.
divided.
Oh, man.
Man.
We can't
guys
video chat with each other.
Your favorite social media platform?
Personally, Facebook.
I'm probably Facebook just because you can sell stuff easier.
I would say business-wise, Facebook as well.
Instagram sucks up a lot of my time, but it's not very productive. Like
Last but not least, why Central Illinois?
That's just where God planted me.
Gotcha.
Just it's home.
Yep.
There you go.
That's the best answer you can give, I would guess.
So the Facebook Marketplace, do you guys use that for your business at all?
Towards the beginning, I felt like it was necessary to kind of get feelers out there and reach a wider audience through the marketplace. You know, we're to the point now where people will message us, but in the beginning, it was definitely put ads out there, show what I can do and stuff. But now it's just waiting on the messages and, walk-in business too.
Perfect.
Gotcha.
So will you guys give us a quick rundown of what your business is? What is Peace Lily Metalworks? What do you guys do? How did you start? How did you get where you are now? Give us a quick rundown of your background.
Well, I guess we'll start from the beginning.
Sure.
Perfect place to start.
1989,
You
it was
asked-
born.
You asked a lot of questions, so I'll just start at the beginning. I was always into like Jeeps and stuff. So in high school, I got a job at the welding shop. because I wanted to learn how to weld. And somehow back then I had it figured out, if you want to learn how to do something, go get a job doing it, and they'll teach you and get paid.
Yep.
So in high school, I worked at the welding shop, and when I was in college, I did a lot of welding on my uncle's farm. He's got a big pig operation, and when my friends would go to spring break or go home for Thanksgiving, I'd go to the farm and work for 40 or 50 hours that week. But that was to buy Jeep parts.
Sure.
So then once Laren and I got married, I started selling promotional advertising for our family business during the day, and welding, doing, odd jobs at night out of the shop. And that was in like 2013. I started working on other people's stuff pretty heavy in the evenings. Then in 2019, Laren, the vet clinic, she's actually a veterinary technician, is what she went to school for. I went to school for marketing. The vet clinic went out of business that she worked at, and we had just bought a new house, had a baby on the way, and she lost her job. So her life was like a country song. And
no pressure in
Yeah.
your life at that point.
so she started selling boutique clothing, and that was kind of a hard business to be in. There's a ton of competition, and I know a barrier to entry is a big thing. So for our wedding anniversary in 2019, we were sitting down at Nemer's Steakhouse, and she's like, what can I do to set myself apart? I said, we should get a plasma table, because it was several $1,000s. She had never heard about it, but I knew she was pretty good with graphic arts, and I was good on the welding side. And I honestly just wanted it so I could make race car parts, and it was just an excuse. So we ordered it. About 2 days later, we ordered one after discussing it, and it took several months for it to get in, and we finally got it about November of 19, and we sold 60 some signs between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I think it was 63.
That was family, friends,
And
friends of friends.
And this was at our home shop. And then when COVID hit, we were both staying at home because I wasn't selling much advertising either at that point. So we got a call one day, someone needing several thousand hand sanitizer dispensers, and that's what really set us over the edge. As they kind of say, the rest is history at that point. So she worked full time. She was a stay-at-home mom. We ended up sending the kids to a babysitter, and she worked full time at the house on metal stuff. And might be a semi. And lost my place.
At the house.
Yeah, she was at the house, and I was still kind of working at the house, then doing advertising. And then I went full time in February of 2021. Metalwork.
Very nice. So basically, you came up with an idea and just said, "We're going to run with it." And now you're got a business started that you both work full time in, and it's working out all right for you. It sounds like.
So far.
So can you tell us a little bit? What are some of the products? I know you mentioned custom signs. So what type of signs, when you say signs or other products, can you give us a rundown of some of the stuff that you guys make?
Yeah, I've got, I would say most of my best sellers, any decorative metal sign that you want to have in your wall, out on your patio, some business signs as well. I can do. One of my most popular ones it's the American flag with a four-door Jeep, or a Jeep Cherokee, the new Jeep Gladiators. Those are popular. I sell a lot of those on, through Etsy. And then I actually have a Chief Illini Wick sign that's really popular. It's kind of the hot items in the last few weeks. Other stuff that I can make too is like this. This is an address sign that's going to get some wood back to it as well. But it can be as small as this. It can be as big as 4 foot by 8 foot. I mean, if you can think of it, I can make it out of metal for the decorative side of things.
Okay,
Very cool.
So,
that is.
Yeah. So you mentioned Etsy. Etsy is kind of I had never got onto Etsy until what did we get? Oh, we started doing those caricatures, Garrett. But
Yeah.
I'd heard of it, didn't really shop on there, but then I started to like scroll around and they've got about anything you'd want. So
oh yeah.
tell us a little bit about your experience on Etsy and how you started, as a small business with, right at the beginning when you said you started before Christmas. How did you develop that on Etsy?
Well, yeah, I didn't start initially, whenever we first started that first Christmas, we just didn't know what we were getting into. We were just kind of, making what we can, learning as we were going. Etsy didn't start until the middle of 2020, I believe. Just another avenue. And I know I had tried to do it with the clothing boutique, but it has to be, especially on Etsy, it has to be homemade. You have to make it, or you have to put the items together and then sell it. It has to be a handmade item. Obviously the clothing, they didn't allow it on there. So I got on there with the metal signs, and I need to put more items on there. I have more of your stock items, like a trivet says welcome, or like the Jeep signs I mentioned earlier, like your standard designs that anybody can hang up in the house. And then I also have a few options where you can customize it. I have a hot plate called a trivet, and that's where people can put their, they message me or put it in the line where they want their last name. Or I've had even some orders where it goes, I want a trivet, but I want a totally different design. Like, what can you make for me? And these are people, all over the United States. I think just last year I shipped to 37 different states, which I had my little map and I was highlighting each state. I was getting excited, getting closer to all 50 states. We've been so busy that I haven't kept track since this year, and since we've moved to the new shop. But yeah, Etsy is a nice platform to be on. The people that are on Etsy are looking for something handmade and custom. So.
Sure.
And then Derek had kind of asked about, Etsy in the early days. We didn't use Etsy, but Facebook was huge in the early days. And then also, family and friends. I think Grant Cardone calls that your power base.
Yeah.
There you go.
Friends and family, and they told people, and everybody seemed to really get together to want to at least try us out. And, it was something different. If you got, like my dad, he can pretty much get anything he wants to get at this point in his life. He's a successful business owner, but what do you get someone like that? Well, you get him a sign that's got his name on it with a deer head or something like that.
Yeah.
Or Chief Illini Wick, it sounds like. So
Yeah. I'm sure that is a hot item. Do you utilize any other platforms other than Etsy, or do you just find that's the most successful one?
I would say that's probably, we have a website. We haven't gotten near as many sales through the website. I do need to, put more traffic, more effort into the website, I believe, because it's all the same. I have all the same items on Etsy as I do my website. It's just with Etsy, you have a wider range of people that are going on there, and people that are going on there are looking for something custom. They type in Jeep, they get anywhere from stickers to hand sewn things to my metal sign. So it's just it's an overall better platform. But in the early days, I would say Facebook Marketplace was kind of our beginning go-to.
I'd say we still get a lot from Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We get a lot of messages, and I think you've sold one thing on Instagram.
Yeah.
Well,
two.
We did make a local contact to A.M. Woods, which is Alex McDonald.
Okay.
He's about our age and has his own woodworking business. We ran into him. I actually played football with him in high school, but we reconnected on Instagram. And that's been a good partnership. We've got a project that's got wood and metal. He does the wood, we do the metal, and it's worked out really good.
It's a good collaboration, and he's a local guy. He's been, he's another Effingham person, so it's nice to keep it local.
Very cool. Well, that's great.
And then I have one part I make for vintage garden tractors.
Okay.
I sell those on eBay mostly.
Okay.
eBay. So a few different platforms then that are working
Yeah.
for sales. There you go. That's very entrepreneurial, guys.
It is.
I-
And that kind of hits into the next question I was going to ask is, for someone that's younger, that's looking to start out, that maybe doesn't have any guidance, or what are some of the things when you first start out that you struggled that you could give advice to somebody starting either a similar business or just a business in general?
I would say in general, the first step would be to get in that mindset. For a lot of years, I work my 8-hour job and go home and I don't do anything after that. I'm
Yep.
in the house watching TV. And I remember the big shift I had, one of my friends who's now my biggest customer sent me a Gary Vee video. And he was talking about you can work for 8 hours a day, go home and be a parent for a couple hours, get the kids in bed. He goes, then you hustle on your thing from then until 1 a.m. And he basically made me realize, like, I'd come in, I'd get the kids to bed and go sit down on the couch and just consume social media, and I wasn't getting anywhere in life. And that was the first step. And I'd also recommend probably everybody read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Okay.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
I'm writing it down.
It's a good one.
So you've mentioned Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Gary Vee, and Grant Cardone in the same podcast. So
Yeah, and Andy Frisella before that.
yes,
Yeah.
there you go. So do you guys, do you listen a
saying-
lot to podcasts and people who have motivational, content?
Yeah, I think we both, throughout the day, I mean, we've got a radio in the shop here, but, driving, if we've got to drive and get metal, I mean, we're listening to podcasts, business, entrepreneurial style, podcasts. It's not so much
Yeah.
music, it's bettering ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think Grant Cardone's Be Obsessed or Be Average gives you a different angle to look at life.
Yep.
He talks about there's haters and naysayers, and haters aren't the dangerous ones because you know who the haters are, but the naysayers is your dad telling you not to buy this piece of metal cutting equipment. And Grant Cardone will say, or actually it's Rich Dad Poor Dad talks about don't take advice from people who've never done it.
Yep.
So that's just a big thing. You'll have a lot of people tell you not to do it or tell you why they're not doing it. And you just got to realize they're not talking to you, they're talking to themselves.
Yep.
Wow. That's pretty deep. But it's true. I mean, you hear a lot of people who they're wanting to, they have an idea and they're wanting to move forward. And it stinks sometimes because people, well, I wouldn't do it. Just stick to what you're good at and, keep doing what you're doing now. And you lose a lot of confidence in yourself when you hear that. But if you have the ability to block that out and focus on what you want to build, I mean, look at Peace Lily Metalworks now. You went ahead and bought that piece of equipment, and now you've moved out of your garage to a bigger shop and moving some material and signs out the door. So
And that first piece of equipment's long gone already. We've already outgrown it. We've already wore it out, and we've since bought one that was 4 times, the unit. And that's they talk about hustle till your haters ask if you're hiring. I was before the metal thing. I was big into vintage garden tractors. It's kind of my nerdy thing, but you kind of find a niche and something you enjoy and try to monetize it.
Yep.
I always wanted to do it, but I always felt like people would give me a hard time. And I've got a friend, I started buying and selling them, and parts are hard to get for a 40-year-old lawnmower, so I would buy them not running and sell parts off of them. And I had one friend, he always gave me a hard time. He called me, like Garden Tractor Mafia and all this stuff. And I mean, just really gave me a hard time about it and making fun of me. And then about a year ago, he came to me, he's like, hey, if you ever need anybody to help you tear tractors apart, like I would come help you. I said, oh, you were making fun of me. And I said, I guess I have hustled till the haters ask if you're hiring.
That is,
I kind of got out of the tractor thing when we started the metal thing, just because I didn't want to chase two rabbits at one time, type of deal.
well, that's knowing which one to go after too, and which one you've got kind of got a higher passion for at that point. So that makes sense.
Right.
I'll tell you, when it comes to podcasts, I'll give kudos to Derek for that, because I tell you what, 3 years ago, most of the time driving down the road, and 3 years ago was about the time, Derek and I started talking. We'd had a long relationship before, but he'd asked me to kind of look to come on board with the team. And since then, Derek listened to a lot of podcasts. And I will tell you, when I am by myself, 3 years ago, it was a lot of music. Today, hardly any music, and it's all podcasts. And
Yes.
it's amazing how I've seen the effect on myself. When you listen to other people that have the same mindset as you, it can change. It just changes things drastically.
Yeah.
Well, what's amazing to me is you can take someone who's been in business for 40 years, and for $15, you can buy their book that they spill out all their secrets in for $15.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just, it's good information. And I think a lot of it kind of helps get your mindset right.
Yep.
For sure.
I
Most
like
of my
Rich Dad-
ideas, I'd
Rich
say
Dad,
most of
Poor
my
Dad-
ideas, you go, Dozer.
Okay, Rich Dad Poor Dad talks about, you can't say I can't, you got to ask how can I?
Yes.
That's, stuff like that.
Awesome.
Boom. Yeah, I'd say most of my ideas, some people may think I'm creative, but most of my ideas I hear from other people. I just twist them a little bit to make them my own. And most of that comes from listening to podcasts. Like you said, early on when I started listening to podcasts, it was Gary Vee. And then from Gary Vee, I started listening to more niche specific podcasts. And a little tip for all the listeners out there: if you have a niche that you work in, for example, if you are, I'll just use the insurance industry. So if I'm an insurance guy and I specialize in the restaurant industry, if I go after restaurants to sell them insurance, listen to a restaurant podcast instead of an insurance podcast. Then you learn about your customers and what they're going through and what their issues are. And you become more of the trusted advisor and a valuable person to them, instead of just knowing your industry very well. So that's a little tip I can share with everybody.
Mhm.
So other than, you guys started in your garage, obviously, and then moved to a new shop, a bigger shop. Early on, when you made that first initial decision to buy your equipment, you started selling those signs. You've mentioned some of your hurdles that you've had to overcome already, but what are some of the things that you guys were like, man, this is just roadblock after roadblock? What were some of those issues you guys ran into?
Well, I'll honestly say the roadblocks started coming real heavy when we moved away from our house into the shop in town.
Okay.
Andy calls them test days, and every day is a test day at this point.
Yeah.
But early on, being out at our house out in the country, we had no internet, so we used Verizon hotspot for internet, and it would take Laren an hour to
Yes.
print a shipping label sometimes.
Oh, wow.
And you don't get much
Country living.
done doing that. Another issue is the metal. So, now the metal gets shipped directly to us. Well, when we were out in the country, we'd either have to go get it because the semi won't come deliver on a dead end rock road. We'd either have to go get it, and that was 2 hours of driving, or we'd have it shipped to my dad's business, unload it, then put it on another trailer, bring it out to our house. Then we didn't have a forklift, so we'd have to unload metal by hand. And there was a couple nights we'd get kids in bed and then go unload metal, and we couldn't let it sit because it's going to rain that night or
You'd
something
have a
like
little
that.
baby monitor sitting there so we could see them inside in case somebody started crying.
Yes. So I remember we had to upgrade. We bought like a $400 baby monitor so it'd reach out to the shop.
Longer range.
So basics and moral of the story is no excuses.
Yeah. You can't say I can't because I got a kid. Just say, how can I? And,
Right.
a more expensive baby monitor was the solution to that problem, or at least part of it.
And I think another thing early on, and I think I still struggle with it today, is it doesn't have to be perfect. I don't have to have the perfect pictures to put on Etsy. I don't have to have the perfect website. it just get your information out there. If you're
Yep.
thinking about opening up a business, do it. Don't
Yep.
wait until everything's hunky-dory and perfect, just start doing what you love doing.
Yeah. Well, I think your guys' story is perfect because I feel like so much, and Derek and I hear it a lot, that you see a successful business and people from the outside, whether they're the haters or naysayers, whichever one they are, they see growth, they see success, and they're like, oh, that was just easy for them. It just looks so easy. Things just fell into place. But then you have a discussion with somebody and find out what's going on behind closed doors, what's going on from 9 o'clock to 2 a.m. And that's where the success is at. Like you said, the people that shut down, they don't see the other side of the hard work that goes in after hours, behind the scenes, the late nights. And that's the stuff to where if you're determined, it will work.
Yep. Andrew, I know this is one of your favorite sayings. Must be nice.
That's right.
Yeah.
When someone must be nice to you, you always say it wasn't an accident.
Yep.
That is perfect.
Though
That's spot
now
on.
one of my customers has started saying it is.
Yeah. And
nice.
how does somebody reply back to that? It's like,
Yep.
Usually he says, Derek probably knows what I'm talking about, but usually he says it is. What's keeping you from doing it?
that's right.
Exactly. Yep. Well, guys, we are actually getting close on time. We're close to the 30-minute mark. Before we get off of here, I want to thank you guys for coming on and sharing your story. I think our listeners and followers will appreciate hearing how you started from zero and got to where you are now. And I personally think it's an awesome story, and kudos to you guys for persisting and making it the business it is today. So
Absolutely.
Where can our followers find you? Where can they contact you? What's your online store? Give us the rundown of where we can reach out to you at.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably the easiest way is to find us on Facebook. Send us a message. It's facebook.com /Peace Lily Metalworks. So just send us a message that goes to my phone, or Andrew gets messages as well. If you want to see a good variety of what we've done, also there on the Facebook page. The Etsy shop is etsy.com /shop /Peace Lily Metalworks. And then our website is peacelilyonline.com, or you can always call me. My cell phone's 217-994-4433.
Very good.
Email.
Yeah, and if you want, we have an email as well if you're into emailing, peacelilymetalworks@gmail.com.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Well, thank you guys. And for all you loyal listeners out there, make sure you're subscribing to the CIBL podcast on whatever platform you consume podcasts on, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. Also, while you're there, please leave a review. It'll help us greatly. You can also follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook and engage with our guests there as well. Until next time, Andrew, Laren, you have officially been civilized, and thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Central Illinois Business Leaders Podcast. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/CIBL podcast. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It's the civilized thing to do.